is not a cultural troupe. They are members of the Ijaw Youth Council Lagos chapter. Dressed in black and white, they gather at the gate of Dowen College in the Lekki area of Lagos in a show of displeasure at the circumstances that led to the death of one of their sons and the handling of the matter by the authorities.
If they open this school on Monday, the only generation will come, we will carry our school bags, we will carry our feeding bottles, we will carry our food, we will join them in the school. They judge the case in their house, they clear them, we will bring them here. Our son cannot die, and their own children will not walk into the school. It's not possible. It's not possible. It is not possible. It's not possible. We want justice. We want justice. Justice must not be done, but must be seen to be done. That's what we stand for.
Elsewhere in Lagos, the father of late Sylvester has met with his lawyers and is asking the police to make public the result of the autopsy conducted in Lagos. He also wants more efforts to be made in getting the toxicologist report before any pronouncement can be made on the complicity of the suspects and the school.
The one from Warri is in public domain. They should make that one public too now, so Nigerians will compare. It's not just telling us they are the same, they are the same. How do we know that they are the same? How many doctors studied it? Nigerian International, how many? We have not seen it. So if they say they are the same, they should bring it out. Let Nigerians see it, circulate it. The one from Warri is in public domain. Everybody's seeing it. That one is not conducted by it's not the family. We don't have a pathologist. It was the area commander Warri, police, that carried out the autopsy. That's why you see police stamp in all the pages. The substance, he said, he collected from my son, a liquid, a black liquid. According to him, he removed it, that he used syringe to draw it. And he sent it to Warri, toxicology in, Yabaye, Lagos here, that they were waiting for that result to come out before they would know the cause of death. Have they gotten it?
He also alleges that the police appears to be acting out a script.
They told me they submitted a protest letter to the Attorney General of the state and the governor to send those boys back for them to complete their investigation. So within 3 days, the boys, they brought them back, completed the investigation. DPP, there is conspiracy.
For answers to all of these issues and more, attention will now shift to the coroner's inquest to be conducted by Magistrate Michael Kadiri. The inquest will commence on Saturday, the 15th of January.
Welcome back. Well, yes, indeed, that is what we'll start our conversation on today on Sunrise Daily. And as you may have seen in that welcoming slide, we've got Venerable Folarin Shobo joining us this morning. He's a member, advisory board of Dowen College. Good morning, sir. Thank you for coming on today.
Good morning, and thank you for having me.
Well, this advisory board, is the school bound to take your advice? Or, yeah, you can advise them, but they will always do what they have to do.
Yeah, very correct. Advice is, you are not bound to, but if you ask for it, it will be given. So the onus is on you who seek for advice to either implement or otherwise.
Did you often ask advice from the board?
Oh, yeah, sure.
If you could give us maybe like a picture, an understanding of, I mean, ever since you've been at the board has been advising the school, in terms of percentages, how many percent of your advice has been taken or some not taken?
There's no time that advices were offered that they were not taken, because they were offered based on request.
Well, for this particular matter,
Yeah.
I mean, do you know how divided people are on this matter, how controversial this subject matter is, especially if it has to do with the death of somebody, somebody's child, as a matter of fact. And you know, only recently, there's yet more controversy. You saw that report of some protest in the school, many not happy, especially when that recent report by Lagos came through. The impression some have is this is hasty. They thought, if there's a coroner's inquest that's going to happen, why did the authorities have to rush? In fact, they think that this is just papering over cracks. They want to ensure they just sweep things under the carpet, open the school. What do you think of all of this?
Well, first, let me extend our sincere condolences to the Oromoni family. The family and Dowen have had a very robust, sincere relationship. And to lay it bare, Sylvester was the 4th child of the Oromonis to pass through Dowen College. As at the time he died, there were actually 2 in school. Himself and his older sister, who is still in SS2. The issue of Sylvester is sensationalized by the social media.
How?
Because the issue was actually broadcasted on the social media by a cousin, and that was where everybody picked it up from, and that is how we got to where we are. The cousin did not post when he was ill. The cousin only posted after he died.
Was it ill?
Well, ill, unquote. Because what took place from our own end is a child who went to the sick bay to report that he was having some pains in his leg as a result of a football. The records are there in the sick bay. And our school sick bay is manned by a registered nurse and is well-certificated medical doctor. The school procedure is when a student is not feeling too well, you go to the sick bay, they administer first aid. If it is something they could manage, that they manage. If it's something that they need to inform the parents, they make a call to the parents to let you know that your child or ward is not feeling too well. Will you be coming to pick, or you want us to take such a child to our own medical facility? We have a well-equipped hospital outside of the school that the school engages in a situation of medical attention.
What ailments did the school find?
What he reported at the sick bay, that he went playing football and he had a collision with one of the players and his leg was paining him. And that was what was treated. Then he went back, and then the following morning the pain was still there, and then the school put a call through to the mother, who said a cousin will be coming, or the guardian in Lagos, because the parent lives in Warri, and the guardian in Lagos will be coming to check up on him and pick him on Monday. The guardian did not come on Monday. Call was put through to the mother on Tuesday. And the mother apologized that, oh yes, the person could not come, but the person will soon be there. And within an hour, the person came to pick Sylvester and took him away. But one thing is this, Sylvester was taken away from Dowen College and was driven from Lagos to Warri. He was not flown to Warri, he was driven from Lagos to Warri.
But you know why?
I don't know why. We could not know why.
They didn't contact the parents to find out why?
It's not for us to ask why, because that's the means of transportation. The means of transportation.
Yeah, you're emphasizing it was driven as though...
Yeah, that it went by road to Warri. That's as far as we know.
Would you have expected him to be flown as
sure.
opposed to driven? Why?
Why? Aside from the security of the road, the person that came to pick is neither the mother nor the father. And committing my child into your hand on that stretch with the report that we got that he was not feeling too well. Anything could have happened on the road. If he relapse or vomit or whatever, how will the person taking him by road manage?
So, given all that is out there, the information as to what happened, I mean, ever since then, and do you, or first of all, is what you said now the impression that the advisory board, is that their impression? Is that what they advised the school upon?
As how? I don't understand.
I mean, is this perspective the same? Does the advisory board hold the same view in terms of what happened to him?
Well, we hold the view because we analyze the whole situation. We ask questions. We look at the records that they present, the record from the sick bay. Everything was properly documented.
Okay, so notwithstanding all that is out there, this position hasn't changed.
What is out there? What is out there is what is social media.
Yeah, so the position still remains the same for the advisory board in terms of what happened to him.
Our position, the position of the school remains the same.
So does that mean, seeing that the state government, the police have, conducted some investigation, they've given out the advice, report as it were, although not the report that the family was looking for. You heard the father. Is the school now ready to resume?
Well, it's not a question of is the school now ready to resume. One thing we all must understand is that Sylvester was a student of Dowen. Dowen too is mourning the loss of a student. It is not the wish of Dowen that Sylvester will die or should die. Sylvester is the fourth child of the Oromoni family to pass through Dowen College. And you should all have the understanding that no parent will pray that in his or her own lifetime, his child should die. To us, Sylvester is a promising young man that this nation should have tapped from his wealth of knowledge. If he had grown to be part of those who will impact on this nation, Nigeria. We are no one. All of us are mourning. His classmates are mourning. His friends in school are mourning. No one could have wished that within a twinkle of an eye, we'll be talking about Sylvester in the past tense. Everybody needs to have that understanding.
Well, that understanding is definitely part of the reason that we're also trying to find out exactly what happened and to make sure that such doesn't happen again. So, part of the allegation that my colleague has been referring to are allegations of bullying and all those things. Just a second. Has there been any report or any investigation to the effect within Dowen College?
On Sly's case, Sly is what his friends call him, Sly. There has been deep-rooted investigation. And to the best of our knowledge, as an institution, there was no case of bullying.
Was there any case of bullying at all reported within Dowen College within the time frame being discussed?
The time frame of discourse is between November and now. There's no reported case from any quarter.
No, I think the time frame dates even before that.
I'm only responding
to the family.
Well, the references, it's not something, we're only talking about this now because this has an end, so to speak. But if there has been any report hitherto, that might be the basis upon which some...
The school, Dowen, takes serious exception to bullying. And any reported case is taken very seriously. The school has zero tolerance for bullying.
How many reported cases have
I
happened?
may not be able to tell you that.
But what are the internal mechanisms that the school has in place for issues such as this bullying? How, are these reports escalated? What kind of protection is given to the student? Just help Nigerians understand what happens behind the scenes for Dowen.
When we talk about bullying in secondary school, we cannot take Dowen in isolation.
No, I mean Dowen this time around, because
Now, I know. Yeah. I'm just letting you know that. You see, most of this hype about this case is like something that we all know, but we don't always, all of us don't want to accept. Yes, it's happened now to Dowen. It's been happening to other institutions that are not reported. But now Dowen is in the football field that is being played all here and there. Dowen does not take, it is one of the cardinal points of the school that is read out to students at the resumption and at every opportunity of address. There must be no bully, there must be no stealing, there must be no pilfering of anything, there must be no oppression of junior students. It's not allowed. That is the institution that we have. And should anyone report, it is dismissal.
How many such cases have happened within
I
the
will
past?
tell you one. One of the, I will not mention the name, but the chairman of the school, his older brother's first grandson was expelled from the school when his case was reported. Expelled. So there's no sentiment, there's no emotional display. Once any infraction on the school rules and regulation is meted with stiff punishment.
So why then, because I want to understand, as an advisory board, you said you have looked at this case and all the facts available. Why then will the family time and again said that their son was bullied in school?
Well, I'm not here because we know that to the family of Oromoni, this is not the time that is too pleasant. And we're not here to trade words or argument or whatever with them. Because we believe that all of us put together needs to allow them to heal. Their view is what was reported to them. But if they will tell you, they will let you know that the school informed them when the boy Sylvester went to the clinic to report himself of pain in his legs. So if the father is holding to that view that he was bullied, we know that a lot of videos surface on the internet at different times of we saw him in pains and all that, and then there was no video telling us that he mentioned that he was bullied. We need to get that straight.
So because there's no video.
No, I'm only saying don't get me wrong. The case of bully is what they reported. Because as at the time the boy left school, there was no such thing at play. The issue of bullying only came from them at home.
So the school had never established any case of bullying against him?
No.
I'm sure you must have seen that interview that was conducted with the family, the father and two sisters.
And the two sisters.
You referenced that, 4 children of the Oromoni family had gone through the school, and one of his sisters actually spoke to that effect, saying that, there had been a time that some students had, I'm sure you watched that interview. So listening to the account of the daughter, would you pick holes in that account? Her experience, that is.
Well, I may not say that I watched the video, or I saw it on Arise television where the father was interviewed and saw the sister sitting. But I didn't hear what you are asking me. I didn't hear the sister say that he reported or there was a case of bullying against him, maybe if I get to see it, then I may have to clinically watch with the intention of getting the facts.
So let me just paraphrase what was said, because the sister said that, I mean, some boys had pressured the brother about whether or not he had seen her in some funny circumstances and all, and that had been on for some time. So that was the sister who was in school. So knowing this now, which you said you didn't know before, does that perhaps change the outlook for you that maybe indeed we need to look deeper at this case?
Well, we may have to look deeper into it, because to be frank and honest with you, I don't think that is an accurate information that's meant to be on this, in the social media or in our hands or flying around, because I can say for a fact that we don't, as a school, encourage any immoral infraction. The school was founded based on building character, first and foremost, assisting young people to build up a character that will withstand the test of time. The school had been in existence for, it will be 25 years, and it has raised nations for this country as resources. So if in the last 24 going to 25 years, the school, quote and unquote, has been producing materials for this country to use for greatness, I'm sorry.
And I can imagine the situation the school is in right now with all this. I mean, a lot of parties are involved. Millions of Nigerians are watching as well. I mean, that interview I spoke about was conducted by Eniola of the Punch last year. And I asked earlier about the school's next line of action, which is quite important as well. I mean, schools are resuming. I know parents took their children to boarding house yesterday. So for Dowen, I visited the school's website this morning. I saw that, I don't know, it was down for a moment. I don't know if it's back up. But for Dowen, is the school back? Are you resuming? You didn't answer that question.
Well, the school is regulated by the government. Don't forget that. It's registered by the government. And the government is keenly interested in what is going on. So we are bound by the directive of the Ministry of Education, the supervisory ministry. And we are still, there are a lot of things that the ministry had asked that be done. The quality assurance of the department of the ministry is still going to review, and we are waiting for them to do the needful.
All right, my colleague Mark has some questions for you. Mark?
Okay.
Well, good morning, sir. I'm just a little curious. I mean, you've talked about the antecedents of the school and how it's got a reputation for building character. Now, we must not forget that these are young people, and there's a reason why schools have rules. Sometimes those rules are sometimes observed in the breach. And oftentimes when issues of bullying come to the fore, where they rarely ever do, there are always consequences for those who go to report. I do not know, much as the school might have a policy against bullying, is it aware of the other intricacies that could accompany the consequences of bullying or bullying that is not reported?
Well, if bullying is not reported, anything that is not reported is not existing. But we have our eyes, because we have hostel mothers and hostel fathers who go around to check on the student, and they live with them in the hostels. So if any bullying is not reported, anything that is not reported is not existing.
You know, I don't know how to say this. It's very, very, when you just said bullying that is not reported is not existing, I'll have to draw on some personal experience here. And it's a bit, because in the wake of what happened to Sylvester or Romani, a few people, you know, came out to also narrate their experiences. One of them happened to be my younger brother. He was triggered by this issue, and he narrated his own experience on social media. It turned out that he was bullied. He reported, or somehow the reporting came out, you know, inadvertently. It was not his intention to report. The person who bullied him was expelled on the spot, but it did not remove the instance of bullying. He was found by the friends of, you know, the person who was expelled, and was beaten black and blue with extreme care taken not to touch his face, because that was where the issue will come up if it was seen that it was beaten. Now, when you say that bullying that is not reported does not exist, it does raise you know, questions as to whether or not school authorities understand just how deep a problem bullying is, whether they understand the psychology of the bullies, whether they understand the psychology of those who are bullied, and have taken pains to take a look at, you know, that particular instance of bullying and how it is that they can uncover the silence that usually comes with it, the shame, the fact that people do not want to be, you know, labeled as weaklings, and all of that surrounds the culture of bullying. I do not know, and this is beyond the reputation of Dowen, because I'm sure they mean well, but this is a problem that most secondary schools confront. These are some of the questions that really bother my mind this morning.
Well, thank you very much. You are very right. Any student that that experience bullying will definitely exhibit some traits that needs to be looked into. Withdrawn, poor academic responses, and all that. When we look at all this, the truth of the matter is this. When a student is bullied, the school protects the bullied and punish those who bully. And most cases, it's always between the senior class and junior. Even in the junior, in the same class, they bully themselves. I'm not talking, when I'm talking like that, I'm not talking about Dowen, but it's a general thing that we all know. And when, like I said, when it is reported, there is no escape route for such a student. We will not blink eye in meting out the stiff punishment of expulsion. And such a student is equally shielded and protected by the school, because the care of look after the onus lies on the school through the teachers and the house mothers and house fathers that stays with them in the hostel. Because we know the school management, the principal and all the principal officers of the school may not, they are not like we have in government, the grassroots that stays with these students. They are in their offices, but these school mothers, school fathers, class teachers, subject teachers that look after these students always shield and protect such students that are bullied.
Venerable, if I may come in here, I'd like to ask, how high is the level of suspicion when a student comes in to report a case of I fell on the pitch while I was playing football, or I collided into somebody while I was playing football, especially when the symptoms which this student exhibits does not correspond with just a simple game of football?
How do you mean by the system does not correspond? Because a footballer that come to report something that has to do with the leg that he used in playing football will show symptom of limping. And that is exactly what Sylvester displayed. That's what he had. He was limping on his leg. And that's where, how did it happen?
At the time, At the time Sylvester's father came to pick him up from, because according to him, he was in Lagos. And by the way, he was the one who took his son to Warri. His father was the one who was with him in that vehicle, from the story which he narrated to Punches and Yola, that he was the one who took him to Warri. He said that they didn't sleep the night before, and that the pains that the son was feeling was all over his body. And that when on the journey, he said everywhere in his body was aching. And, you know, there were questions as to what kind of football did you play that, you know, resulted in this sort of, you know, in this sort of injury. But usually we know that when students have these injuries that could result from bullying, the go-to alibi is, oh, I fell down, or I was playing football, I fell while playing football. I'm not saying that students lie, but oftentimes these are the cover-ups that they use. So I'm asking, do you have a high level of suspicion, perhaps as a note to nurses, the registered nurse whom you have in your, what they call that now, in the sick bay, to say, look, when cases of football injuries, in quotes, come in, is it possible for us to take a second look at it? Because sometimes these are some of the things that people who have been bullied say to remove suspicion from those who have, you know, carried out this sort of attack.
Okay, I'll start by saying, first, what I said earlier, that we're not here to trade words or whatever with the family. We are trying as much as possible to assist them to pass through this stage and then come out of it stronger. It was not the father of Sylvester that came to pick him from school. It was...
Okay, we need to wrap up, so I just wanted to say, but did you see the autopsy report, the first of which read that he died of chemical intoxication?
Like every other person, yes, but don't forget.
Did you see it? Are you aware of that?
Oh, yes, I saw it on the internet.
Did you agree with that?
No, because the man actually came back on the 31st of December.
Do you agree with that?
No, I did not.
Which one do you agree with?
I agree with what he wrote on the 31st of December.
What about the second autopsy?
And the second, because if you look at the all autopsy report, is initial report that he first released on the, I think that was on the 10th of December, before the toxicology result came, and then he now released another one on the 31st.
But you also heard people say that, look, this is just to clear the school so that they can go and reopen the school and get back to business as usual.
It is just, those who are saying that are just being emotional, which is understandable, and they have just been sentimental.
In spite of the toxicology first report? Which
the first report has no toxicology report. The first, of the one that was conducted in Warri, the first one that he released on the 10th has no toxicology report. The one he released on the 31st of December, if you listen to the Commissioner of Police very well, he alluded to that fact as much.
You seem to agree with the ones that subscribe to the position that you believe in.
It is not a question of position that I believe in. It's a question of science that has proved both in Warri and in Lagos.
All right, we have to anchor at that point. We've been speaking with Venerable Folarin Shobo, Member Advisory Board, Dowen College, Lagos. Thank you for your time today.
Thank you very much for having me.
All right, we're back in a moment. Don't go away.